In 5 minutes, test your memory with Today's the Day. Before that, on BBC Two, a summary of the news with Hugh Edwards. Good afternoon. John Major has declared his full support for the American attack on southern Iraq. The Prime Minister said there was a real fear of another humanitarian disaster among the Kurds following Saddam Hussein's recent assault in the north of the country.
Mr. Clinton flew back to Washington last night. His first task this morning was to justify America's attack. He spoke of President Saddam's cruelty to the Kurds and underlined America's resolve to stop his excesses.
Our objectives are limited, but clear: to make Saddam pay a price for the latest act of brutality, reducing his ability to threaten his neighbors and America's interests.
This was almost exclusively an American operation. The missiles were fired from 2 warships in the Gulf and from B-52 bombers. Britain's only involvement was to allow them to refuel at Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean on the long journey from their base at Guam. Some of America's allies feel uneasy about the attack, but Mr. Major recalled Saddam's persecution of the Kurds 5 years ago.
That was a matter that stirred the conscience of the world in 1991. It certainly stirred the conscience of the United Kingdom. It was for that reason that we advocated the safe havens in the first place. It is hardly surprising that we wish to see action taken at an early stage to prevent a reoccurrence of that sort of humanitarian tragedy.
One of the no-fly zones across southern Iraq is to be extended to within 30 miles of Baghdad, giving more protection to Allied pilots who patrol it. With this in mind, the Americans hit air defense systems and radar sites in the southern sector. President Saddam's response was defiant. He said his forces would shoot down any hostile planes and added that the no-fly zones would be ignored.
Government's announced plans to test all 5-year-olds in England when they start school. Pupils could be assessed on how well they count and whether they recognise simple words.
The government plans a national framework for the tests so results can be standardised. Then they could be used to monitor pupil and school improvement from age 5 right through school, providing a baseline for league tables. Ministers expect schools to use the tests to set improvement targets. Teachers are wary of the extra work, but ministers say the tests will be devised so parents can help assess their own children.
Labour has accused the government of allowing businessmen to pocket millions of pounds at the taxpayers' expense from the sale of a government agency. The Property Services Agency was sold to a business consortium for just £11 million 3 years ago. Now it's been resold with government approval for over £70 million. And that's it for now. There'll be a full update for you at 6 o'clock on BBC One.
Good afternoon. A 26-year-old woman has been found hanged in a cell at Corntonville Prison near Stirling. Denise Devine is the 5th remand prisoner to have been found dead at the jail in the past 15 months. The Prime Minister, John Major, is due to arrive in Glasgow shortly to begin his latest round of pre-election campaigning. The Conservatives plan to boost their popularity by giving a high profile to the Prime Minister's wife, Norma. Mrs Major has been persuaded to step out of the political shadows by Tory Central Office to help promote the party's message, Life's Better Under the Tories. Strathard Farms in Skye will be the first fish farm in Scotland to use the drug ivermectin to get rid of sea lice on salmon, despite concerns from fishermen. Pollution watchdogs say its use should pose no environmental threat. That's it. A very good afternoon to you.
Hello again. Well, it's been disappointingly cloudy across many parts of the country today. You can see a sliver of sunshine though across this southeastern corner. A few brighter spots going further north as well. That's the way things are going to stay into the evening, with many places rather overcast and still some pockets of light rain and drizzle about. Those dribs and drabs of drizzle to come tonight as well. An overcast night indeed, but temperatures remaining around about 12 to 14 degrees across many parts of the country. So quite a warm night once again. The high pressure is in charge for tomorrow. That does mean to say that with the isobars tightly packed across the south, there'll be quite a fresh wind blowing across southern counties. A rather grey start, a misty start in some parts. Just a little bit of sunshine here and there, mainly in the west. Then we're going to find rather more sunshine developing though during the afternoon. Most places should see a few breaks in the cloud, and temperatures 18 to 22. That's it from me for now.
Stopping first at Crewe to pick up Victoria Wood. The Great Railway Journeys Express departs tomorrow at 9:30 on BBC Two.
In half an hour, more fast food with Ready Steady Cook. First on BBC Two, vintage television from yesteryear as the Champions League continues in Today's the Day.